Alright, I woke up this morning, realized I hadn't made a video in a while. I realized I had this beautiful sunset behind me. And then I turned on my camera and I tried to capture that sunset, or sunrise, sorry, it's early morning. That's how early it is. Not even speaking right yet. Tried to capture this beautiful sunrise and I realized that my camera's not very good at that. I tried messing with the aperture and the shutter speed and not much of a videographer, but I could not get that to work. I guess that's what you need those fancy DSLRs for. I just wanted to talk about my smoking. I felt like this whole thing with the sunset was a nice metaphor. I'd love to come on here and tell you some celebratory, exciting story about how I went 30 days without smoking. Didn't happen though. And I just wanted to come on here and re-emphasize that what I'm documenting here with my quitting smoking isn't actually the process of quitting smoking. What I'm documenting, or attempting to document, is the process of loving myself and aligning my actions with that love. And to find the parts of myself that I don't love and find out why I don't love them. And to find out the parts of myself that are incapable of loving and find out why they're incapable of loving. When we do something like changing our habits around smoking, it has the potential to be a ceremony, to be a really deep dive into who we are. It could be a surface level focus on changing behavior, or it could be a deep spiritual and emotional experience where we discover ourselves and heal very, very old wounds. And so, I'm here healing old wounds, loving myself, even though I'm on day about 8 of a smoking binge. To the point where I'm really feeling it. Feeling it in my body, feeling it in my mind, feeling it in my lungs. And it's so clear that this isn't actually what I want. But it's also so clear that this is just where I am and what I'm ready for at this time. So, what do? I just love myself a little bit more. Am I making excuses? No. No. That voice in my head that says I'm making excuses. It's just a part of myself that's afraid of being loved. And I know this can sound cliche and woo-woo and just ridiculous, you know. I grew up in a world where quitting smoking was quitting smoking. It wasn't about your feelings. But because this is part of a larger process, I want to show you these mountains over here. Can you see them? Oh, man, those mountains back there have some significance for me. Those mountains, I looked at those mountains a year ago when I realized that I didn't want to heal. I realized in an instant, looking at those mountains, that I had been telling myself for 11 years, I had been working my ass off, trying to figure out how to heal. And I looked at those mountains and I knew with 100% certainty that I had been lying to myself the whole time. That underneath all of those actions to heal, underneath all of those desires to heal, was actually a deeper truth of myself, which is that I didn't want to heal. What I wanted was to make attempts to heal, to be seen as making attempts to heal, and then to fail, so that I could say to myself, so I could say to others, so I could say to spirit, see? It's not even worth my time. It's not possible. The universe is against me. And for the past 12 months, I've been working with that understanding, that truth of, okay, there's something so much deeper going on here. I have the tools to change my life. I have the meditation techniques. I have the movement practices. I have the dietary understanding. I know how to have healthy relationships. I know all the things there is to know. Except those mountains right there. What is it inside myself that doesn't want to heal? What is that? That's what this process of quitting smoking is about for me. It's answering that question. And so while I'm going through this little bit of a binge, because right now loving myself means just accepting the smoking process that I'm immersed in, to expand this loving myself process, I picked up a little journal. And I'm going to take this journal very seriously. I spent some money on one that looks good. Looks good, not some crappy composition book or something like that. I wanted something that looks good, because this is going to be something of a prayer journal. And I'm going to write down everything I buy, every purchase that I make, every bit of money that comes to me. I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to give thanks for it as many times a day as it takes to shift my relationship with that money process. One of the most difficult areas of my life for many years has been my emotional and psychological relationship with money. It's been very challenging. And I've been listening to this book, The Soul of Money, by Lynn Twist. And it has by far been the best book on money I've ever found. None of this woo-woo nonsense. None of this 10 steps to live like a millionaire. None of this nonsense. Like true, honest conversation about the pros and cons of money and the way they affect our lives and the emotional and spiritual relationship we have with it. It's huge. It's huge. And one of the biggest blocks around experiencing more love and joy in my life is the criticism that I have towards myself for my relationship to money, my lack of money coming in and the too much money going out, the fear around the money. And Lynn Twist talks extensively about how it's just moving through. And anytime we focus on money, we're going to get confused. What I realized yesterday is that money, if we're focused on money, if money is our primary focus, it's because we're addicted, or it's because we're fearful, we're afraid, right? I can't think of a possible explanation for why money would be the first focus for anything. But if instead we focus on the thing that money will... I want to be careful here, because sometimes it's talked about as the things you will get with money. Oh, imagine the new car you're gonna have, man. Get a screenshot of that new car, put it on the backdrop of your camera or your phone, so every time you pick up your phone, you see that car and you can manifest it, man. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that mountain. Talking about that part of myself that doesn't want to heal. And that part of myself that doesn't want to heal doesn't want to receive. And it doesn't want to give because it's afraid to give, because it's not able to receive. And so this journal is a place for me to start receiving and to start giving in a different way with immense intention and gratitude and prayer. And so I'm going to write down every dollar I spend, every dollar I receive. Possibly every time I smoke, but possibly not. I haven't decided yet. Mostly this is a money prayer journal. And I'm going to shift my relationship to receiving all of the wonderful things. What does it mean when I go into the coffee shop and buy a latte, right? I could go in there and buy a latte, and I could beat myself up. I could criticize myself. Oh my God, it's $4. Like, should I spend $4 on this latte? I could have that mentality, or I could say, oh man, this is a really cool coffee shop. Like, the people here are really cool. The town that they live in is really cool. They're providing this amazing space for the community. They've really put a lot of energy into the aesthetics. They've really put a lot of energy into having good quality coffee and good food. I believe in this. I believe in this business. I believe in these people, and I want to support them. I want to give them this $4. And yes, I'll get a latte. It'll be great. It'll be a good latte, and I will love that latte. But there's more happening. There's an exchange. There's a giving, even in this experience of just getting my fix for coffee. You know, there's still this opportunity, if I choose to meet it that way, to really feel that experience of giving to this organization, giving to these people, put $1 in that tip drawer and smile with my heart wide open, right? Or do I, give a tip and I kind of feel anxious and nervous because, well, what about my budget? Those are two very different things. So that's what I'm going to experiment with. And when I'm ready, I'm going to stop smoking. And it's all going to be part of the same process, this process of understanding those mountains and understanding what they represent within me, so that the part of myself that genuinely wants to heal, that genuinely wants to thrive, that genuinely wants to be the fullest potential that I can be, that part of myself can start running the show. And the part of myself that's terrified of receiving God's love in the form of healing, that part of myself can finally find peace. That's what this is really about for me. Hope that makes sense. I hope this did something for you. All right. Much love.